What's good? What's good? It's the one and only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So I was listening. First of all, let me give a big shout out to 78 Sports TV, man. Shout out to the whole entire LDBC family, man. I'm a huge fan of those guys, man. 78, Drew Titan, BFTB Boxing, Black Fight Fan, of course, CC, all, even I don't think Black Fight Fan does videos anymore, man. Or boxing videos anymore, should I say, man. I'm a huge fan of those, of the family, the whole entire family. But I was listening to 78's video on should Keith Thurman retire, or his thoughts on Keith Thurman or whatnot. And I definitely wanted to just make a response video. Now, before anybody tries to get this twisted or anything like that, like, this is a response video to my OG, like 78, you know what I'm saying? So don't try to, I know how you people like to try to twist things up and oh yeah, you're trying to diss, like, no, that 78 is somebody I look up to, bro, a good dude or whatnot, right? So, but in my opinion, man, I'm just gonna be honest, bro. Yes, I do think Keith Thurman should retire, and I'm gonna give you my backstory of why. I remember the first time I saw Keith Thurman, it was on an HBO card. I can't remember who exactly it was that he fought, but I do know his record at the time was like 18-0 with 17 knockouts, right? And at the end of his after he won, the post-fight speech or whatever, he was like, he was just calling out everybody. And I remember he got to Floyd Mayweather and was like, Floyd Mayweather, you are undefeated, but I can defeat you. Like, and at that point, he stamped himself as a threat to the welterweight division, right? All right. So time goes and he's just, Keith Thurman is just looking unstoppable. At the time, it seemed like nobody wanted to fight him. He couldn't get a fight. He was actually Floyd Mayweather's mandatory until they elevated Floyd to the Super WBA champion. He couldn't get a fight with Manny Pacquiao. He couldn't get a fight with, even like the likes of Sean Porter, or I know he was calling out like Tim Bradley. He was definitely calling out Amir Khan. He was calling out Amir Khan tough. Nobody wanted to step in the ring with Keith Thurman at the time. As a matter of fact, the only person that was calling Keith Thurman out was Errol Spence, right? But I will say, I understood at the beginning, I understood why he wouldn't fight Errol Spence. Is like, because Errol Spence, I think, was only like 16-0. Like, he was just up and coming, you know what I'm saying? And I can understand at that point, fighting Errol Spence would be a step backwards for Keith Thurman, right? I even remember Floyd Mayweather tried to, use Errol Spence as a roadblock so Keith Thurman would stop calling him out, talking about I think Keith Thurman should fight Errol Spence for one of my belts on my undercard. You know how Floyd does. All right. Now, he was looking like just unstoppable until July of 2015 when he fought Luis Collazo. That was the first time we ever seen Keith Thurman hurt, right? He was hurt to the body, but he ended up stopping Collazo, right? Now, at that point, he still got the victory, so it didn't matter. But I'll never forget, bro. Later that year, like, it was like November, and I remember at the time I was like, bro, I haven't heard from Keith Thurman, like, anything from Keith Thurman since that moment, right? Since July. I haven't heard no interviews, no nothing. As a matter of fact, the next time I heard from Keith Thurman was at some PBC. It was like I think the PBC's first award thing, and I think Keith Thurman won an award and he spoke on it or whatever the situation may be, right? All right, so then that next year, he fights, in 2016, he was scheduled to fight Sean Porter, March of 2016. He got into this car accident, right? Now, I saw the picture, like, bro, they made it seem like he was in this horrific car accident, and I wasn't there, but I saw the picture of the Mustang. He had a white Mustang. And I saw the accident. I'm like, bro, this dude, I don't even consider that. Like, he had a dent in the front of his Mustang, right? And I'm like, bro, that looked like a fender bender. Like, that ain't even a wreck. That bro got into a fender bender. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he said he had micro tears in his neck or whatnot. But he ended up fighting Sean Porter in June of 2016, right? We no longer heard from Keith Thurman the rest of that year. Then he ends up fighting Danny Garcia March of 2017. Then after that, we don't, obviously he gets married, all right? And a lot of people kind of wonder if this was one of the reasons why Keith Thurman, kind of lost his hunger. I'm not sure, but, he gets married or whatever the situation, right? After he fights Danny Garcia, we don't see him none in 2017. And as a matter of fact, we don't even see him in 2018. Now, it's bad when Sean Porter steps out of character to call you out, because even Sean Porter was getting sick of like Keith Thurman holding up the division. At that particular time, Keith Thurman was the unified welterweight champion, right? Now, at that moment, Errol Spence was calling out Keith Thurman even more. And it seemed like the bigger Errol Spence got, the less we heard from Keith Thurman, bro. And the whole problem is Keith Thurman was like, at first I understood why he wouldn't fight Errol Spence, bro. But then Errol Spence goes and beats Kell Brook, gets the IBF title. Keith Thurman still has no interest in fighting Errol Spence. As a matter of fact, he even stated that he's okay with being the second best welterweight. Like, Errol Spence has a title, the IBF. You had, Keith Thurman at the time had the WBA, I believe, and the WBC, right? Because I believe we know somebody from Top Rank probably owned the WBO. That's one of their belts, right? Anyways, so it was like, it made all sense, right? For Keith Thurman to fight Errol Spence and unify, that way get 3 of the titles, right? But Keith Thurman still chooses not to do so, right? So Keith Thurman doesn't fight 2017, 2018, but then he comes back against Josecito Lopez January of 2019. Now, he looks somewhat just, I don't know. I believe he was hurt to the body in that fight. I don't know, but I can't remember. Like, I know he won like by majority decision, and now all of a sudden Manny Pacquiao wants to fight Keith Thurman, right? Now, I give Manny Pacquiao full credit for beating Keith Thurman, but I'm not gonna act oblivious to the fact that Manny Pacquiao picked Keith Thurman at the right moment. All right, Keith Thurman fights Manny Pacquiao July of 2019, right? This is when I knew Keith Thurman no longer had hunger, right? After Manny Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman by split decision, they asked Keith Thurman. Now, matter of fact, before I even go to this, let me just state this. I have this rule, and maybe I need to just get rid of it because the way these boxers are. But bro, if you fight in January, it should be no reason why you shouldn't be fighting 3 times a year. If you fight, I mean, we've gotten used to these fighters fighting twice a year. Now here recently, the PBC, like, their fighters only fight once a year. But bro, if you fight in January, you should be fighting 3 times that year, bro. 3 times, bro. All right. He fought in January 2019. He fought Manny Pacquiao July of 2019, right? All right. So after he loses to Manny Pacquiao by split decision, I believe, the first thing this dude said was, I want to take a break. I want to take some time away from boxing. I want to take a break, right? Bro, that's when I knew right then and there, this man has lost his hunger, because bro, you've already had a 2 years of inactivity. After already only fighting once a year, prior to that. So it's like, bro, why do you need more time? You would think if a fighter was hungry and he came off of his first loss, and his first loss was a split decision loss, bro, a hungry fighter would have been like, bro, nah, let's get it. Like we got to run this back. I need my rematch, bro. He took my belt. I need my rematch. I need that rematch. We can do this in December, but I need my rematch. But this man said he was okay with taking a break. He wants to take some time for his family, and I'm not knocking him taking time for his family, but that's when I first knew Keith Thurman wasn't hungry anymore, right? So then we don't see Keith Thurman 2020. We don't see him 2021, and not to mention, bro, he has been on record admitting that he has turned down fight opportunities from the PBC. When they were fighting in the bubble, he was like, no, I'm a prize fighter. I would rather fight with a lot of fans and all this type of stuff. AKA, it just sounds like an excuse for him not to fight, if I'm just being honest, because I don't think he wants to fight anymore, right? Then all these injuries, you ain't got to talk about the injuries, but the man fights February 2022. Never in my life have I ever seen a pay-per-view where 2 fighters coming off of a loss, him and Mario Barrios, one fighter getting stopped, Mario Barrios, the other fighter on a long 2-year inactivity, Keith Thurman, and they put this BS on pay-per-view, and he ultimately gets hurt by Mario Barrios, right? And we haven't seen him since. And he was supposed to fight Tim Tszyu, and guess what? He's injured. He got injured with that, bro. Keith Thurman does not have the hunger and desire to fight anymore, right? And yes, you can talk about his injuries, but here's the question: is he not fighting because he's getting injured, or is he getting injured a lot because he hasn't been active? Like, bottom line, Keith Thurman, bro, like everybody is calling, bro. It was a time, believe it or not, it was a time where nobody was calling out Keith Thurman. Nobody was calling this man out. But now everybody is calling Keith Thurman out, bro. It's just, bro, the man is food for everybody. So I don't think Keith Thurman has the hunger. I don't think he has the desire. The man does not want to. I think it's best for him to retire before he seriously gets hurt. Because I do think he was going to seriously get hurt against Tim Tszyu. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to the 78 Sports TV. But what do I know?